All righty.
Yo,
Welcome,
yo,
welcome.
yo.
What it do, beautiful people?
Yeah,
How
we are
y'all
here.
doing? We here um, on a what's the opposite of Victory Monday? Loser
Um,
Monday?
Loser Monday. Yeah,
Loser Monday?
the
Is that
opposite of winning is losing.
okay? I didn't know if
Just
there was a
drop that
saying
knowledge.
for it, but
Oh, got you.
um, well, welcome everybody to
Welcome.
episode 17 of Bear Down
17.
Breakdown. Yep.
Mm.
17. We're getting up there. We starting
Yeah. Yep.
starting a nice little discography of
You remember when you were 17 years old?
I think so.
Okay.
I was a senior in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good times. Good times.
Nice. Yeah.
At 17.
Yeah.
Wish I was 17 again.
Right. Man.
Yeah. Do you remember when
was
you
a
were
good age.
17? I feel like that was a
What?
long time ago.
Oh. I just, you do that. You do that to me. I don't like how you ask the question. Why'd you ask it like, do you actually remember when you were 17? I mean, bro. God.
You laid it up there for me, and I just threw it down.
I feel like I do it every show, and it's not even on purpose. That's what people don't understand. It's not on purpose. We just have these reflection moments, and it always ends up with like I'm about to die tomorrow because I'm 93.
You Chris Paul ooped it, and I was
did.
Blake Griffin at that moment.
In their prime.
No, but Phil, do you remember when you were 17?
Yeah,
what were you
man.
doing?
I was
what
like,
were you doing in life?
I was a senior in high school. Didn't know if I was going to graduate. My mama had to come up to the high school and talk to the counselor like 3 weeks before I was set to graduate. Well, supposedly graduate. I was a half a credit short of graduating high school, and that's because I like, I got a few scholarships to play baseball, and I just thought we was rich. I thought I had made it because I was like, we ain't gonna never have to work again. And people's like, you still got to go to school. I'm like, I ain't going to school.
Going to the big leagues.
Right, I'm going straight to the major leagues as a collegiate scholarship. Like, you got a long way to go, brother. So I ended up like my junior year, I didn't go to any classes. I was just out there, just practicing baseball, and that was about it. And my senior year, my counselor like, yeah, you're half a credit short, bro. And I didn't want to tell my mom because it would have been like a total disappointment. So,
yeah. I feel you.
A lot of bad choices at that age. A lot of bad choices.
Oh man, I mean, 17-year-olds tend to do that. So
true, facts.
Which we're gonna get there as parents. We're gonna have little 17-year-old kids, and
man,
I can't say that I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, like I said before, welcome everybody to episode 17 of Bear Down Breakdown. We are gonna, of course, talk about the loss versus the Lions. Got a lot to discuss today about that game in particular.
Yeah.
But of course, your Packers fan sister always it's okay. She commented on Facebook. She said, "Go Packers." I'm not going to put the comment up on the live stream because it's not worth it. But she only shows up when the Packers win. Do you notice that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And she even shared our podcast on Facebook, and it's only when the Pack. She even heart emojied.
Yeah.
The Facebook post. She only does that when the Packers win.
Yeah. Yeah. Tells a lot about her character and who Tina, she is as a person.
I'm gonna block you on the Facebook podcast page if you keep showing up only when the Packers win. Show up when the Packers lose. Okay.
We watched the game yesterday, me and her and my brother.
I'm sure that was a
me and Sam, we was rooting for the Cowboys, of course, and Tina, of course, was rooting for the Packers, and when the Packers pulled it out, we had to just take it. Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Our offense is still better than theirs. So.
Right, exactly. Take that.
Anyway, yeah, a lot to talk about in this loss versus the Lions. And but before we do, as always, every episode, every week, we got to check in. So, Bruce, how you doing, big guy?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hanging in there, taking it day by day, because that's all you can do in this thing called
Step
life.
by step,
That's it.
day by day.
A lot of crazy stuff happening in our world, and I'll be
I hear
the
that.
one on the mountaintop shouting, "Take care of your mental." That's my mantra, man. Like I'm telling everybody, take care of your mental. So much crazy stuff happening, but I'm good, man. I can't complain, man. Because if I do, who's gonna care anyway? You gotta wake up and just go about your day and keep going, keep striving. I'm throwing all the life cliches out there today, man. Keep on keeping on. Don't stop trucking. Keep it moving. Keep your head up.
Give me another one. Give me another one.
If life gives you lemons.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, how you doing, bro? How you doing?
You should just start a philosophical podcast just on your own. I'm sure people would love that.
I couldn't even take myself serious. I could not take myself serious at all.
Oh man. I'm good. I'm good. It was a rough day at work. You know when you just run. Okay, so I work for Frito-Lay, right?
Mhm.
So I'm basically merchandising different grocery stores. Like I do the big grocery stores, like the Walmarts, the Jewels, the Targets,
Right.
the Myers. There's one Jewel in particular where have you ever worked with a manager that their sole, it's like the only reason why God made them is to make other people's lives miserable. Like so that's the only reason why they exist. You ever met a manager like that?
Yeah.
I had to deal with that today.
Ooh.
And it just it was one of those moments where you have these conversations with people and you're like shaking because you want to say something so bad, but you also know that you got to pay bills, so you don't want to lose your job.
Yes,
so you
sir.
keep your mouth shut.
Yep.
Yeah, it was one of those days for me today.
Yeah.
So I got home, I got a quick workout in, took my frustration out on some weights, and I'm doing this, and this is another outlet that helps
Another
me.
outlet.
It's therapeutic. But I say that to say that so that I don't have to deal with asshole managers, and so that Bruce doesn't have to deal with asshole managers. Support the show.
Yeah.
Share the show so that Bruce and I can do this full time, and we don't have to worry about typical 9-to-5 jobs. And we can just talk about the Bears.
Yeah.
And get paid for doing it.
A lot of money. Yeah.
That would be great.
Take care of our families. That's all.
So
that's all we want.
If you're watching live, go ahead and share it if you haven't already, somehow, some way. If you're listening audio, go ahead and give us a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, however you're listening. Give us a 5-star rating. Leave us a nice review so that you can help us out. That's all. I don't think that's too much to ask, right?
Simple.
That's not too much.
We just want to live the American dream.
Yeah, and talk about Bears losses.
Right.
And get paid to do it.
That's all. Like everybody else does, right?
That's all we want. Well, anyway, enough complaining about my problems. Let's talk about the Bears' problems.
Let's get into it.
All right. Bears lose to the Lions by 1 freaking point.
Yeah.
31-30. They scored 30 points again. That's nice.
And lost.
And they lost. But for
Yeah.
some reason, man, this I don't know about you, B, but like this loss doesn't feel the same that it did against the Miami Dolphins. Because I know obviously we lost last week against the
Hmm.
Dolphins, and
Hmm.
all of us Bears fans were like jumping for joy. Well, not all of us, but most of us
Yeah.
were jumping for joy after that loss.
Hmm.
Because we went down to the wire pretty much with a really good Miami Dolphin team. We went, back and forth offensively. We scored almost 30 points, all on offense, no defensive scores. Justin Fields looked amazing. Defense just couldn't stop a fart. So
Right.
that's why we lost that game. But yeah, this game just feels different.
Yeah.
And Justin Fields played well again.
Hmm.
But man, it's something is missing offensively, and that feels so weird to say because we're constantly scoring 30 points, just losing. But just something is missing. And I'll get into that, a little later in the show. But B, what
Hmm.
was your thoughts on this game?
Um, I was very, yeah, I was disappointed, and I told myself like I don't want to take. I know the Bears are like a long way away. We say that. I feel like we say that every show, but it was something about yesterday's game that I was like, we shouldn't have lost this game. I don't care if we're not in it to win it. And we should not have lost that game yesterday. The Detroit Lions, um, they have a lot of um, not a lot. They have some okay individual players. I like Aiden Hutchinson, the defensive end. I felt like we couldn't stop him all game, and um, they have the wide receiver because his brother Equinemius St. Brown.
Amon Ra.
Yeah, they're brothers, right? So
Hmm.
I like him, but other than that, Jeff Golf, yeah, we made him look really good yesterday. I was just more upset at the defense because I just felt like, and I know you have some stuff to say about the offense, but again, like the offense did enough. They did enough to win the game. I felt like maybe it was some opportunities left on the field that we could have capitalized on. I would have liked to see more of Chase Claypool. I don't know what happened to him. Um, and I know we'll get into that as well, but I feel like David Montgomery is becoming less and less, within this offense. Not sure what he adds to this team anymore. So there's a lot of just different things that I took from the game, and I'm just like, yeah, we shouldn't we shouldn't have lost this game. And I know we could talk about Justin Fields. We could talk about evolving into. One of the things that I am, it's hard to be an NFL quarterback, right? It's hard to be a consistent. It's even harder to be a consistent NFL quarterback. And I just see he's being consistent in certain areas. Everybody want to say he's a runner. And I saw this tweet where, if you go back to Ohio State, Justin Fields was a dynamic passer. Like he wasn't drafted because he was a Lamar Jackson. Justin Fields
Right.
was drafted because he had an outstanding arm. He could make every throw from any angle. And he just happened to have have the running ability. So I don't know. It's just this game it was just to get back to the game. It was just frustrating, man. We shouldn't have lost. We shouldn't have lost.
Yeah. Um, the Bears, just a quick stat. The Bears are the first team in NFL history to score at least 29 points in 3 straight games and lose all of them,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, which says something. This team is learning how to win right now.
Mhm.
I mean, they're losing, but they're learning how to close out these games. And this game was a microcosm of the Bears just not knowing how to close out a game. Um, Granted, and let's just get this out of the way: the refs were terrible. Like, I am not one to normally blame a loss on the refs, but my God, the inconsistent. This is the second week in a row. Like
Yeah.
last week, um, it was very obvious. The calls and no calls that were against the Bears. They even got a letter by the league saying, "Hey, we missed these calls," which like getting a letter from the officials and from the NFL saying, "Hey, we missed these calls, but you still lost."
Yeah.
Like, they affected the game, but you still lost.
Sorry.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry is basically all you get is a sorry,
Yeah.
and not even an I'm sorry. It's just
Right.
sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. You're 3-6 or 3-7, whatever
Um,
we are right now.
I definitely think that there needs to be more accountability in officiating
Mm-hmm.
because there's so many calls and non-calls that just affect these games and affect um, they obviously affect playoffs. They affect jobs.
Mm-hmm.
They affect a lot of things when you get really, really deep into it. So I think there needs to be more accountability with these officials.
Agree.
I don't know what needs to happen, if they need to get fined or suspended or whatever the hell, but something needs to happen because this is ridiculous. Second
Yeah.
week in a row.
Yeah. I
So
agree.
that
I
out of the
agree.
way because I don't want to spend too much time on the refs. But,
Right.
Justin Fields, we'll just quickly give his stats out there. He was 12 of 20 for 167 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, had a really, really bad pick six that obviously affected the game because they only lost by 1 point.
Right.
But 13 carries for 147 yards, 2 touchdowns, rushing the ball.
Crazy.
Another really good day. Obviously running the ball. I mean, straight the first play he took for I think it was like 28 yards on a keeper, and just again just kept making plays with his legs. It's great to know that Justin can make plays with his legs. So what I'm about to say about Justin and his Bears offense, please do not take wrong. I'm not complaining that he's rushing for a whole bunch of yards because it's working in terms of putting points on the board. But I think this game showed how important it is that you have to pass eventually. Eventually, you have to, pick apart the defense by passing the ball. And he had a couple of great throws in this game. A couple of Darnell Mooney. He had that one pass to Cole Kmet for the touchdown, which was a great throw, and it was a great catch by Cole Kmet. When you have Cole Kmet and Darnell Mooney, 4 receptions each, leading the team in receiving, and then everyone else below him, Byron Pringle, 1 catch. Dante Pettis, 1 catch. Chase Claypool, you talked about it, 1 catch. David Montgomery, 1 catch. It just seems like this offense needs to take another step. It needs to take another step. And I'm not saying this needs to happen like this upcoming week against the Falcons, but I want to see Luke Getsy and Justin kind of maybe unravel slowly a more prolific passing attack. I don't know what that looks like. This offensive line is still not great. The receivers, obviously, Byron Pringle comes in for the first time, and I don't know how long. Chase Claypool is still learning the playbook, so I get it. But it just seems like that's the one thing that's missing in this offense. Justin throwing for 150 yards on average just isn't doing it for this offense in terms of closing out games. So that's all I want to see now. Like, we get it. Justin can run and he's dynamic. Probably he's the best running quarterback in the league right now. One of the most dynamic quarterbacks, I think we can all agree, ever right now. But there has to be a little bit more of a balance. Like, Jared Goff threw for 236 yards. Okay. I'll take that from Justin. I'll take 230. Give me 236 yards. I would be happy with a passing attack like that. Because if he throws for 236 yards but still rushes for maybe not 147, but let's say 112, 90 something, I think we win this game.
Okay. Okay.
But that's just what I want to see. And I'm
Okay.
not here to complain about the offense because they've been putting up, like I said, 29 points in 3 straight games. Defense has been terrible. But I just want to see, because of course Justin Fields is still developing. I just want to see them unravel a little bit in the passing game. That's all.
Is that possible? Is that possible for them with the limited weapons that they have? So part of this is since he's been on this extraordinary run of quarterback play, we've seen a lot of him making something out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think is that, to have a prolific passing game.
And I'm not saying prolific. I'm not saying prolific,
but you said you want to open it up
just something a little bit more.
With is that possible with the weapons that they currently have in the wide receiving with the wide receivers?
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. But all I know is that I've seen other teams with less talent do more in the passing game. So I don't know what it is. I know Justin doesn't. Again, I don't know. I know Justin doesn't have a great offensive line. They're getting better every week. I thought they were better against the Lions. And I know, maybe once Chase Claypool gets, his feet under him with this playbook and he gets to know the plays a little better, I think he only had like 19 snaps
19, yeah.
today,
Yeah.
and he only went out for like maybe 6 routes or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like they could do more. They could do a little more in the passing game.
I get what you're saying. And it's not that I disagree with you. I just think that Justin has so much working against him. It just seems like for the most part, he just makes something out of nothing, right? And that's just I just think that's just because of the weapons that he has on the offensive side of the ball. And then like you're always in this position of bailing out the defense. The defense is terrible. Like they can't stop a nosebleed. So it's like it's always like you cannot depend on this defense. You have to be perfect. And that's why that pick six meant so much. It's just like you knew the defense, like they had a few good stops, right? But then it was just like you knew they wasn't gonna hold the Lions to 10 points at that time. So I don't know, man. It's just I don't know. That's just for me. It's just asking for him at this. Him and Getsy. I mean, and can you scheme? Can you scheme it where you can open the passing game up? Like I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, that's why Luke Getsy, gets paid the big bucks as an offensive coordinator to figure something like that out.
Bucks. Yes.
But it just seems like this offense needs to, I don't know, open something up. Just they're very one-dimensional right now, and I think, like you said, like Justin came into this league as a prolific passer. He did not come into this league as a prolific runner. So there has to be something there to be unlocked, and I think the Bears can. I think Justin can put up 236 yards. I really don't think that that's too crazy of an ask. Again, I'm not saying that he needs to pass for 300 yards, throw for 3 touchdowns, nothing like that. Just something that keeps the defense a little bit more honest than Justin rushing for over 140 yards every game. And also, I really don't want him to get hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was way better at protecting his body, I think, against Miami.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't take as many shots, but this Lions game, he took some shots that I was just like, oh.
Yeah, and the Lions were physical. They were really physical, and that's been like if you talk to the people that watch the Lions and up in Detroit, they'll tell you like that's the one thing about this coach is he has them playing hard. They may not be the most talented bunch, but it says a lot when you can beat the Bears, and the week before that you could beat the Packers. And look at both games; they were They play physical, and they've been like that all season. So, the one thing that I want to point out with Justin Fields is he's really taking the spotlight off what David Montgomery is bringing to this team, which is nothing. I'm over David Montgomery. I love him. He runs hard. But to me, he's not worth signing next offseason. You can move on from him and you can bring somebody, because Khalil Herbert really has become that guy. You saw that in the game yesterday. He's just averaging 3.7 yards per carry. And since the Packers game, I think he had like over 100 yards against the Packers. What has David Montgomery really brought to the team?
Yeah,
if anything, go ahead.
Not a whole lot. I mean, I would, in short yardage situations, I would trust David Montgomery over Khalil Herbert, because it seems like David Montgomery just always seems to get that extra yard in those inside run situations. But I get what you're saying. Like overall, as an overall running back, it's Khalil Herbert is RB1 right now.
Definitely. And if that's the only thing that he's useful for at this point, is to get short yardage, then I'm over him.
You could draft another running back in the later rounds to do that.
Definitely. Another player that I don't understand gets a lot of playing time is Equanimeous St. Brown. I don't know what the fascination is with him. I mean, I understand he's a solid, very solid pass blocking wide receiver. I get that. He does that very well. But man, you mean to tell me that he's more talented than N'Keal Harry? What happened to N'Keal Harry? Like, I thought
it's weird. Now him and Velus Jones. Like I get Velus Jones struggled. He dropped that dime pass by Justin Fields. He had a couple muff punts. He's your 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
And you traded a 7th round for N'Keal Harry. So that's a 7th round pick, basically. That's a healthy scratch. Velus Jones, 3rd round pick. Chase Claypool, who only got 2 targets in this game. That's a 2nd round pick right there. These are draft picks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That aren't getting much play right now. And Chase Claypool, I understand, because he's learning the playbook. But
yeah. What I've heard around around this Bears organization, especially within the coaching staff, is practice means a lot, and how you practice really determine like your play on Sunday, and the coaches are big on that. And so I think one of the reasons why we don't see a Velus Jones is just his practice. Like, what is his practice? I'm interested to see, like, what is his practice? His practice is during the week. What is that like? And the same thing, maybe Equanimeous St. Brown just practices better than most of the receivers, the receiving core. So I don't know. It's just it's head, makes you scratch your head as to why he gets so much playing time. I just don't get it. And I think he went to Notre Dame. I think he's one of the St. Browns. It's like 18 of them in the NFL. No, like seriously, like I think it's like 4 brothers that I think it's 3 in the NFL and 1 is still in college, something like
the Fullers.
The
Fuller
yeah.
brothers.
Yeah, it's like 20 of them. It's a lot of y'all in there. Are we gonna talk about this defense? Are we still?
We are. I just want to give some stats out.
Okay, all right.
Because I feel like I was, like, people that are listening, I think I was poo-pooing on Justin Fields, but I wasn't, because he is based in Greg. Shout out to Greg Braggs, because he described it perfectly. He is Devin Hester in quarterback form in terms of being dynamic.
Yeah.
Like, every time Justin drops back to pass, you think he can take it to the house and on any play.
Yeah.
But so Justin has since week 6, Justin leads the league in rushing with 555 yards. He has more rushing yards than Derrick Henry since week 6, guys. Justin Fields has more rushing yards individually on the season than the Chargers, the Bucks, and the Rams.
That's crazy.
Like teams, those teams, their entire rushing total What'd you say?
I said, say that again.
So Justin Fields has more rushing yards himself than the Chargers as a team, the Bucks as a team, and the Rams as a team.
That is crazy.
Insane.
Wow.
He's the first quarterback in NFL history to rush for 100 yards and pass for 2 touchdowns and rush for 2 touchdowns in a regular season game. He is the first person to rush for at least 147 yards in back-to-back games since Walter Payton, the first Chicago Bears player to do that since Walter Payton. That's a pretty good name to be up there with. And this is back to the point where I was talking about how Cole Kmet and Darnell Mooney kind of led the league or led the team in receptions in this game with 4 each.
Mhm.
And this also points to your point where he doesn't really have many weapons. But when Justin Fields targets Cole Kmet or Darnell Mooney, his yard per average is 8.3 with a 66% completion percentage and a first down rate of 36%. When he targets literally anyone else on the team, his yard per average drops to 6.4, his completion percentage drops to 53, and his first down rate drops to 25%. So that just shows that obviously Cole Kmet and Darnell Mooney are far and beyond, at least until Chase Claypool gets up to speed with the offense, the best weapons on the field. And when you get Justin Fields weapons, he's going to produce in the passing game. Like, I think it's just going to happen. Go ahead.
Dan Orlowski, who is one of the guys on Get Up, and does the football stuff on ESPN, says that he believes Justin Fields can play himself into the MVP conversation. He said that he honestly believes Justin's play is going to warrant him getting into the MVP conversation. He has been so remarkable over the last month. And, everybody, and then, of course, you look at the comments and everybody want to bring out the record and its completion percentage and things like that. But to get that type of recognition, where maybe it's not, it may not be true to some people like Justin Fields, but to get that type of recognition from Dan Orlowski, who played the quarterback position, and I'm not saying he's a Hall of Fame or anything like that, but to get that type of recognition with this team, and you just mentioned Cole Kmet and Darnell Mooney and Chase Claypool, and that's it, right? That's the the weapons that he's playing with, and to get that type of recognition only shows you that what this kid is doing and what he's been doing, and just playing, like I was playing devil's advocate with you earlier, but that's why you believe that he can do more, because he has it. Like he has it. And it doesn't matter, it does matter what he has around him, but we believe in him so much that we know that even with this, with the limited weapons that he has, he can do more. Yeah. And you want to see him take it to that next level.
Yeah, and it's not just obviously the receivers, it's the offensive line. I remember there was a play where Justin got perfect protection. There was no one around him, clean pocket. He went through 3 projections and found Darnell Mooney for, I think it was like an 18-yard gain or something for a first down and third down. It was beautiful. And they, they went through the replay. Mark Sanchez went through the reads that Justin was going through. He went from right to left and found Darnell Mooney. And he didn't look shaky. He didn't look timid in the pocket. He stood strong, stood tall, stood confident, and delivered a strike. And that's obviously a glimpse of what Justin Fields can be as a pocket passing quarterback if you just give him the damn time to do it. And he doesn't have to run for his life the whole game. So, yeah, I mean, again, by saying I want the Bears to unravel the passing game a little more, I understand Justin has he doesn't have a whole lot to work with right now.
Right.
But I'm also not expecting a whole lot in the passing game. I'm not expecting 300 yards. I'm not expecting 3 touchdowns. I'm not expecting 4,000-yard seasons right now and 30+ touchdowns in the year. I'm just something to keep the defense honest. Maybe a couple more deep shots on play action. Um, Something like that to chase Claypool. And they did that, I think, twice last
Hmm.
week.
Hmm.
One of them garnered a pass interference. The other one should have garnered another pass
Right.
interference. So it's just stuff like that that I want to see them open up a little bit more um, against these teams because the Bears are rushing for over 250 yards as a team every damn
Every
game.
game.
So you know
It's
what
crazy.
these defenses are coming into the game to do. They're
Right.
coming in to stop the damn run. So you know they're going to load the box with 8 guys, 9 guys. Um, you know Justin is keeping the defense honest with his legs. Everyone thinks that as soon as he rolls out of that pocket that he's going to run. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe a couple more deep shots.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I want to see. I don't know. Nothing crazy. But one more stat. So since week 7, Justin Fields has 13 touchdowns
Hmm.
himself. That's obviously passing and rushing, and that leads the league right now.
Yeah.
He's a touchdown machine. Okay,
He is.
like
Yeah.
he's doing it. He's throwing for touchdowns, and it may not be a whole lot of yards, and that's what everyone, all the Justin Fields haters want to point to. But he's scoring, and that's
Yeah.
really all you can ask him to do at this point.
I want to shout out offensive lineman Riley Reef. And the reason why I want to shout him out is because early in the season, when the Bears offense was struggling, he came out and he said he was in this same type of system in Detroit last year. And he said that it took them to game, I believe he said either 5 or 6 to
He said it took them 4 games.
so
Until week 5. Yeah.
to really kind of show what this offense is about. And I just feel like with the way Justin Fields is playing, you see the creativity within this offense. You see what the possibilities are when you get those weapons. And look, I'm not saying for the Bears, you need a number one wide receiver. You look at, and I think I said this last Sunday, when you look at the NFL and you look at why some of these teams are the upper echelon teams, why they're so dynamic, it's because they have the quarterback and they have the quarterback that can throw to that number one wide receiver. That Vikings and Bills game was probably the best game of the NFL season, all season. And you look at both sides of the ball. Minnesota got Jefferson. The Bills got Stephon Diggs, and it's just they just got those playmakers. And then you look at, like I said, you look at the landscape of the NFL, and to have that number one wide receiver, I mean, that's special. And so if you think about it, if the Bears can add that to what they have. And I'm not saying you need to get rid of every wide receiver that's on this roster. I mean, they have some serviceable guys, but if you get that number one, just imagine what that can do to this type of offense, where you see the potential, you see what Cole Kmet, who I mean, shout out to Lou Gessie for just getting him involved and making him a real threat in the red zone. You see what this running game, how dynamic this running game is. So imagine if you can just add that number one wide receiver and what that just opens up with this offense. Of course, you have to get better on the offensive line. You got to get guys that can protect Justin Fields, but you see the hope and you see the bright spots and how dynamic this offense can be. You see what it is now. So just imagine next year when you can get more weapons and what that can do and the creativity, because I believe it's more. I believe it's more to this offense, but you're just limited because of what you have currently on this roster. So when you can get that talent, I can't wait, man. It excites me to know the levels that this offense can go to because our quarterback is that dynamic.
Yeah. Agreed. They definitely need a number one, no doubt. Because Darnell Mooney is not a number one. We've been saying that since I think since the end of last year, because obviously we knew that Allen Robinson was going to come back. We knew the Bears didn't have any cap space to go out and sign somebody. And we knew that Darnell Mooney was going to be elevated to the number one spot. And we've been saying it. Like, he's not necessarily a number one wide receiver. So, yeah,
Oh my
we
God!
definitely
But
knew that.
you bring somebody in here, and imagine what him, Claypool, that number one Claypool and Darnell Mooney. You put them
And
out
that
there like,
and that immediately, it's like what Chase Claypool did. It's like trading for him. If he becomes acclimated with the offense and plays to his full potential, he's your number one. Darnell Mooney's down to number two. And then you got Byron Pringle,
yeah,
probably your number three.
yeah,
That immediately upgrades your whole wide receiver room. Just moving those guys down one slot immediately improves your whole wide receiver room.
right.
So, yeah, you get that number one, and then Chase Claypool down to two, Darnell Mooney down to three, Byron Pringle down to four. That's a pretty solid
That's
four
solid. Yeah,
group
that's solid
right there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
that's a great point. Do you know who's second in the league in touchdowns for tight ends right now?
Cole Kmet.
It is Cole Kmet.
Yep.
He is second in the league in touchdowns for tight ends right now. That's it. He's been a great bright spot in this offense. Obviously,
he went to Notre Dame. He went to Notre Dame, so not shocking at all. Yeah,
he did. Shout out to Sam Mustipher.
Oof.
Notre Dame. Yeah. So let's talk about this defense.
I guess.
Can we talk about Jalen Johnson? Because listen, that hands to the face call was egregious. Was completely. He didn't even touch the wide receiver's face in that moment. It was a hands to the shoulder. Wide receiver just fell down like he got shot by a sniper. I don't know what happened, but I think that kind of made it the ref think that he touched him in the face and throw the flag. I don't know, but it was a terrible call, and I'm not putting that on Jalen Johnson, but he has been bad.
Yeah,
the last couple weeks.
Excuse me. Yeah.
I have a Jalen Johnson stat. So,
I got a few.
He graded out per PFF. He graded out at a team worst 28%.
Yeah.
In this game,
he
only has one interception in 34 games. And the QBs have a 102.1 passer rating when targeting him. And I get it. Like towards the beginning of the season, we were all like raving Jalen Johnson because he didn't have anyone target him. But judging by these last few weeks, maybe they should have, because maybe they would have had a little bit more success, because he's been bad.
He has been absolutely terrible. And you threw out the stats that I had, and he's 23, so I get it. The potential is there, but the one that what's concerning to me is the one interception. Because now quarterbacks aren't even afraid to throw to your side anymore, and the fact that we need you to make plays and you're not, and you're betting on yourself, because you said throughout the preseason and throughout the training camp that you were a number one receiver, which I get. As a cornerback, you gotta have that swag. Like you gotta believe that you are the best. But when you're not out there performing like the best, then yeah, it's something that's a concern. I mean, I have him penciled as as one of our cornerstones, but he has to improve. Simple as that. He has to get better. That first big contract's coming up, and if you're a top cornerback, you're gonna get paid, because that's one of the main. If you're not a quarterback or a defensive end or a wide receiver, the next big payday for a position player is a cornerback, especially a shutdown cornerback. And so he has to start playing better. Simple as that. And right now he's not.
Yeah. And granted, he doesn't have a whole lot around him either, just like Justin Fields, in terms of the Bears don't have a pass rush. All right. And I don't care
Mhm.
how good you are as a DB, you can't
Yeah.
cover a receiver all day.
Right.
So I get that. Quarterbacks have all day to throw against these defensive backs, which I think eventually can be really good.
Hmm.
With the combination of him and Kyler and Jaquan Brisker and Eddie Jackson, who's been the leader of this defense and has had a pretty good year so far. But yeah, I just don't think Jalen is a number one corner. I think he's a good number two. But I just don't think right now Jalen is that number one corner guy that you shadow the opposing team's best wide receiver.
Right.
Which I mean that's okay. It's okay to not be that, but it also gives Ryan Poles more work to do because now he's got to go find another really good corner as many holes and who knows, maybe if Ryan Poles goes out and improves his front seven so much so that they generate pressure next year and
Yeah.
these defensive backs look a lot better, that could
It's
be
the
the
difference.
case.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's not looking good right now, and he's not looking like a number one.
Right.
But I'll tell you who is looking like a starting caliber player is Jack Sanborn,
Jack Sanborn.
local kid,
Yeah.
undrafted rookie. He had 12 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 2 QB hits. I don't know if those QB hits are technically those sacks, but and should have had an interception in this game that was called back by that illegal hands to the face. Terrible call against Jalen Johnson.
Yeah.
But this is why you don't pay Roquan Smith.
Right. Right.
Because you have Jack Sanborn, an undrafted rookie, come in and play a game that if Roquan put up these stats in this kind of game, we would be talking about this is the best game of Roquan's season so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
Granted, I'm not saying Jack Sanborn is Roquan Smith, that he's as good as him, that he's going to be him. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that Roquan's production this season can be replaced. Maybe not as consistent as him, maybe not make the all pros and Pro Bowls, but you can have a linebacker come in and do what Roquan was doing at least every other game. And that's why you don't pay that guy $20 million per year.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And you may have found something in Sanborn. You may just have found your starting linebacker. We don't know. It's still a lot of play left, and we don't know what's going to happen. But the one thing that he's shown, because last week was his first start against the Dolphins, and that's a tough task because it just seemed like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, they just that offense in itself, it make it seem like 16 guys on the field as fast as they play, So, but to Jack Sanborn's credit, he comes back this week after getting his first start last week. And the one thing that stood out to me was just his instincts as a linebacker. And you got to have that, being able to just diagnose what's happening. And, he made plays. And that interception, that what there could have been interception, could have been the play of the day. But unfortunately a penalty negated that. But you could have something. And shout out to Poles for drafting this kid. And no, you say he was undrafted. I'm sorry. But
You
to
still
just
picked
give
him
him,
up.
you still picked him up and you gave him a chance. You could have something, and that's a positive. And even if he doesn't become a starting linebacker for your team, he's an excellent depth piece. Good can play special teams. If somebody gets injured, or in this case, Roquan got traded, you was able to put him in, and he's playing well. He wasn't the reason on the defensive side of the ball why this team lost. You don't get pressure. Like their front four doesn't get pressure. The one thing about the Tampa 2 scheme is that you have to generate pressure because the coverage from the secondary, they don't press, they don't pressure like they play, a particular scheme. So if you're not getting that pressure, like you're gonna see quarterbacks come in and go up and down the field. But to getting back to Jack Sanborn, he played very well. He played very well too. If he continues to play like this, like man, you might just have yourself a starting linebacker. So
yeah,
salute to him, man, for taking advantage of that, taking advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah, 100%. And I want to give a little credit to Alan Williams in this game because I think he doesn't have a whole lot to work with right now in terms of because like you said, this cover 2 scheme, Tampa 2, whatever you want to call it, the point is to generate pressure with 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're very used to this. We've gone through it so many years with Lovie Smith. The point is to generate pressure with your front 4, have everyone else drop back in the zone, force the quarterback to make a mistake or get sacked. That's the whole goal of this defense. But Alan Williams, I did notice in this game, he blitzed a lot more.
He did. He had to.
And yeah, he had to. But a lot of us are talking about, is he going to make that adjustment? Is he going to make that adjustment? Or is Matt Eberflus and Alan Williams going to kind of be hard-headed and stick to this, we only rush 4 guys type of, style defense? Because he didn't blitz a whole lot last week. So we were wondering whether or not they would adjust, and he did, and that's how Jack Sanborn got 2 sacks. I noticed a couple other guys getting pressure. They kind of forced Jared Goff to make quick decisions when they did blitz. And I thought it was a great game plan because Jared Goff is viable to give you one
right
every game. He didn't this game because I think the Bears just don't have enough talent on their defense to kind of force that. But Jared Goff, he can be liable to give you one. So I thought it was a great adjustment by Alan Williams. He just, the defense they don't have enough to execute a game plan. And they did play well in the first half. They only let up 10 points. But yeah, Jalen Johnson, he needs to step it up.
Got to get better. Definitely.
No doubt. He needs to step it up. Any other notes on
no.
On this game?
Atlanta. On to the ATL.
To Atlanta.
That would have been a good game to go watch.
Yeah, I got to add. I'm on ESPN. I got to add that the lowest ticket price right now is $74. Let's drive up to Atlanta. B. Let's take a road trip.
They're down. Drive down to Atlanta.
Okay. I have one more stat.
Okay.
So I know Justin is getting a lot of poo-poo on his pick 6, especially the haters. But Justin had gone 13 quarters before that pick 6 without an interception. He's been doing a great job of taking care of the ball this year. So the one pick 6, and I also gave him credit in that press conference when he walked up to the podium and immediately said, it was one of the first things he addressed was the pick 6 and said that he would never do that again in his career. And I think he's also getting poo-poo on that too, because people are like, oh, you're never going to throw an interception for the rest of your career. You're never going to throw another pick 6. I think what he means is he's never going to force a ball in that way where he's getting pressure and they were also in their own territory. So you gave the Lions, even if they didn't score, they would have been in the red zone and probably would have scored. So it just was a bad spot to throw that kind of a ball. And I think that's what he meant. He meant that he's just not going to put his team in that position,
right?
To try to do too much in that scenario to put a ball up there to get picked. So I think that's what he meant. He's going to get picked again. That's just the nature of the game. The greatest ones do. He's going to get pick sixed again, probably. The greatest ones do. So
Mhm.
I don't think that's what he meant by that. But anyway, just wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, on to Atlanta.
On to
On
the ATL.
to Atlanta. Actually, I want to start a little segment
Ooh.
before
Meow,
we
meow,
do our
meow,
rec of the
meow.
week and close the episode out. But I want to do a game ball.
Okay.
I want each of us to give out a game ball, win or lose.
Mhm.
So if you had to give a game ball to anybody, it could be a coach, player, I don't care who it is
Yeah.
in this game. Who would you give a game ball to?
Oh, Jack Sanborn. He gets my game ball. I love those type of stories, man. Undrafted. Um, no way he saw himself being the starting linebacker for the Chicago Bears and this historic franchise of that's generated some great linebackers throughout the years. And now he can say, I played linebacker for the Chicago Bears, and just the performance, man. Like the one thing that stood out was his instincts. He was quick to the ball. Like he diagnosed it, he saw it, and he made the play. So I definitely want to give my game ball to Jack Sanborn. Keep it up, young man.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
My game ball is going to Cole Kmet because I love his resurgence. We've
Mhm.
been waiting for this Cole Kmet for the last couple years, and I tweeted this out. Like people gotta understand that tight end is one of, and I think I've said this before on this podcast, but tight end is one of the slowest developing positions in the game. Like George
Definitely.
Kittle didn't come out of the draft and was George Kittle.
Right.
Same with Travis Kelsey. Those guys took a couple of years to be those prolific tight ends in the league. So, and granted, Cole Kmet is second in the league in touchdowns right now. So I love his celebration. That home run
Mhm.
uh, celebration is great. But he's also a damn good blocker. Like
Yeah.
he is becoming one of the best all around tight ends in the league right now.
Putting it
And I'm
together.
talking about red zone threat. Every time the dude catches a ball, he runs violent. He seems to always pick up another couple extra yards. So I love the player he's becoming. I'm loving that Luke Getsy is getting him involved in the offense
Yeah.
because he's a weapon. And he is a weapon. So
He is
um,
definitely.
yeah, I'm giving the ball to Cole Kmet. He had 4
I like
receptions, 74 yards, 2 touchdowns. Great game, but also great stretch of games that he's putting on right now.
No doubt. No doubt.
All right. That does it for us in this Lions Bears game. Before we close it out, let's give our rec of the week.
Wreck of the
As we
week.
do every week. It's just a recommendation that we give. Bruce likes to get philosophical sometimes, so I'm really don't want him to go first again,
Okay.
but I'm going to do it to myself. Bruce, you
No,
better have
mine's is-
something. You better
no,
have something.
It's simple.
Oh, God.
If you're into action movies, right?
Oh, okay. Thank God.
If
Yes.
you're into action movies,
Give it to me.
Pause.
Pause.
Amazon Prime. Oh man, Amazon Prime has this movie called with Sylvester Stallone. It's called The Samaritan.
Okay.
And it's a movie where you think of Sly Stone and his great career as an actor and a lot of the movies that he's played in, and of course he's known for all the Rockies, right? But to see Sly Stone at this age and still doing it, like that's a big shout out. And I watched the new movie that he has. Again, it's called Samaritan. Really good movie, action movie. So yeah, if you just in the crib chilling, if you into those type of movies where you action and like I said, Sylvester Stallone, he's one of my favorite actors of all time. So
Wow.
definitely had to watch that. And yeah, so that's my rec of the week, The Samaritan.
Okay.
Everybody's in the Christmas spirit and they want to watch all the Christmas movies and stuff. And I'm just like, let's put a pause on that. Give me a good action movie. And Yeah, and I found that on Amazon Prime. So The Samaritan with Sylvester Stallone.
I like that. Wait, who's your favorite actor of all time?
Oh, Denzel Washington, hands down.
Okay.
My dad, Denzel. You know, a lot of people say I look like Denzel Washington, so you know, he definitely is my favorite actor of all time. Yeah.
Do those people need glasses?
Huh,
Do they have glasses?
You
Do
know,
they have a prescription?
yeah. Well, okay.
You know, because if I take my glasses off, can't see a whole lot. But I guess I can.
If
I
you
need to.
squint,
I need
if you
no,
squint,
because
and
if I squint, I see better. So if I don't
tilt
squint,
your head. Oh, okay.
yeah, I can kind of see it.
Yeah, they say I sound like them too. King Kong. No, I'm just playing.
Oh man. All right, my record of the week is actually the same record of the week that I gave y'all last week. Same one. And the only reason, okay, if you didn't listen last week, it's God of War Ragnarok.
Mhm.
It's a video game that just dropped this past Wednesday. The only reason why I'm giving it again is because when I gave it the first time, I haven't even played it. It hadn't even come out yet. I was just excited for it.
Right.
Now that I got to play the damn game,
How you feel?
chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. It's no doubt the game of the year. The first game, God of War, for them to top it, it's the God of War is up there. And I think I talked about it last week. One of my favorite video games of all time, probably top 2 or 3
Mhm.
of all time. And I've played a lot of video games in my life, so that's saying a lot. This one to
Mhm.
top that game was going to be very, very hard, and they did it. The action is great. The game is beautiful. The story is great. The relationship between the main character, Kratos is his name, and his son, Atreus, just like for any dad out there, you can relate. It's heartfelt. It's frustrating because it's a lot.
Mhm.
It's a very emotional game. On top of it, it's badass. They have they have you fight Thor in this game, and their depiction of Thor is so different than the Disney Chris Hemsworth soft ass Thor. This Thor is an actual badass. Like y'all just got to go play it. I highly
Okay.
recommend it. Even if you're not super into video games, it's worth every penny.
Okay.
Go out and play it, especially if you have a next gen console like a PlayStation 5 or Xbox One X or whatever. Yeah, I recommend it. Bruce, you should go play it. I know you're not into those games, but I think you would like it. I'm just saying.
First of all, I'm because I'm like I can't play God of War because my beliefs, you know, I believe in Jesus Christ. So I don't want to disrespect Jesus by playing God of
Wow.
War. Because the only war that I stand on is the war of Christ.
All right. I'm ending the podcast right now. Wow.
You know, you always got the one. You always got that brother out there. Oh, so you playing God of War, huh? So that's your savior now. What, man? I just can't. I can't enjoy life. I can't play a video game.
Oh man, yeah, no, that's true. That's
Oh,
true. A
my
lot of Christians are hating on me right now, probably.
We knew it. We knew it all these years.
Hey, shout out to my guy Zach. He says we got ourselves a QB1
Yes,
AV
sir.
/ running back. I don't agree with the running back
Yeah,
depiction there. He's not a running back. He's a quarterback, guys.
he's a quarterback.
He's a quarterback that can run. That's
Right.
all. Anyway, thank you guys for listening and watching. If you are watching live, we appreciate y'all. Again, go just share the podcast however you can. Spread the word
Yep.
to any Bears fans out there. And we know everyone that listens to this podcast is probably a Bears fan and
Yeah.
watches it. So tell your fellow Bears fans about us. Put us
Yeah.
on. Yeah, we appreciate everyone. And we will be previewing the Atlanta game this Thursday. Hopefully, I know we didn't preview the Lions game because schedules didn't work out. But hopefully this week we will be live previewing this upcoming game against the Falcons.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, that does it. Talk to y'all this week.
Peace.